Hello, everybody.
Here we go.
Hello. We're back.
Hey.
You guys might remember us. We're the guys filling in for Aspira. We were here last week. I'm Daerfriend. We've got
HeadofHustle
and returning guest to the show.
Hi, Church or Clint Badger. I work at Jets. Should I tell them what I do?
Yes, but don't lie.
Don't lie?
Don't lie.
Okay, yeah, this is the first time I'm saying this publicly. I am one of the designers for the My Hero Academia card game. I came on starting with Crimson Rampage, and a few people are starting to say, wow, this set looks cool, more well-designed, and the characters look more fair.
Is that you?
Oh, there's a team of us. We have a design team instead of a design Tim this time.
Wow.
I love saying that joke.
Wow.
That's good. That's really good.
I may put this in the highlights reel. That's strong.
Yeah, so I've used a lot of player reports and things. Like people were saying they hate that it feels like to run Deku, as you might know this, you need to run 4 of his secret rare. So I kind of pushed for, maybe if there are or aren't secret rares and in the next set, that they'll be less generally useful to so many decks, but more exciting. They will freaking pop and they're cool to see.
Wow.
So they're more of a hype rarity is what Jason likes to call them. They're below ultra rare, but hype rare is what he likes to say.
Very cool. Very cool. So guys, we had a really fun and exciting provisional showdown this weekend. 256 people coming in.
Sold out.
It is the biggest event ever for UFS, Universes, My Hero, all of it.
Crazy.
I've been to so many worlds for UFS. 111 people we got once. Everyone in the room cheered.
Wow.
This is double that.
My God.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I really certainly did enjoy the gameplay and felt like we had a really, really good time.
Yeah, it was a little too hard for me.
Wow.
It's coming in
good.
We were already looking at Kirishima and coordinated effort well ahead of time. And as I was writing up the document talking about if we're going to errata or ban it, I saw in the top 4 match, Christopher Nixon used Unwavering Slash to ready his coordinated effort and draw a card. And I just said, that right there, I hate that. I hate everything I just saw.
So... obviously that's been the big topic of the day.
Yeah.
We've announced officially, if you haven't seen, Oliver, who's a returning tech for the week. We'll pull it up in just a second.
Applause.
There we go. Well, we've heard the people.
Yeah, we've been watching him for a while.
And
it's a game for the people.
Yeah.
It's a game for the people. We listen to the people here.
Okay.
And Church, I'll read the rule change specifically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll let you discuss it. How about that? So we banned coordinated effort. That's the first change.
Yeah.
And the second change is an errata to Ajiro Kirishima. And the errata states that your enhance goes once per turn, your turn.
Mm-hmm.
You will be able to build 1 foundation face down from the top of your deck. And then the second enhance is once per turn, add 1 foundation from your stage to your hand. This attack is +2 or -2 damage. And so obviously the biggest change is that it used to be both on your turn and your opponent's turn for the first enhance, and then the second enhance is no longer twice per turn, it is once per turn.
Yeah, we cut the ability uses on each one down in half. A really big thing is that it felt bad to poke into him. If you just want to poke and draw a card or get what you want, he's just going to build and get immediate advantage and probably just full block your attack and be a prick about it. So it's just nice that you're allowed to a little bit play the game back and forth a bit more with that. If you want to just build up, you can. Nothing wrong with that. And cutting down his ability to pick up the correct blocks was a lot more important than the damage reduction on that. Because the -2 damage didn't matter as much as the fact that he's just picking up the right block and slapping it down and making your attack useless. A common thing for Kirishima is to just play out all 5 cards on turn 1, even if you fail them, whatever, that's fine. But one of the cards you played was a Passing the Torch, which draws you 2 cards if you have no cards in hand. Okay, you're up to 7, and then you have 2 pickups. Yep. You're up to 9. It's turn 2. You haven't done anything yet. You didn't earn this. We've felt bad about him since a little bit before the release. We felt like he was not an accident, but a bit he's not at the standard power level for universes beforehand. But
Accident is a big word.
yeah, he's not an accident, but like he's just a little bit above everyone else. The consistency that he brings was an issue. Our big CEO Jason has just been yelling ban for like 4 months, and but we've had this nice stance of we want to wait until we have actual data. We want to wait for the first big event, and 256 person event brought fantastic data. I love the amount of stuff that we were able to see from that. The fact that we could see that 114 people were on the symbols of coordinated effort and only one of them wasn't running coordinated effort. That's insane. That is a 3 difficulty unique foundation, and people were running it at 4 of them. That should be a deck building risk, not a deck building plus. That card should never have a 6 check.
Yep.
But okay, that's why we have a design team, and we're making sure that these things don't slip past, because I don't want to blame Tim or Jason or any one person, like especially with the XR misprints we've seen, like the art missing here or a little block mod missing there. Now that I've seen the actual design process on how things go, I've seen that it's very possible to make these mistakes. But now that we have so many more people looking at these cards, so many more people proofreading, so many more people going through the XRs. Like before a set goes to print, we all look at the XRs and the normal ones. We're looking at them side by side to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Like
so Church,
we're just
I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing about a little bit more about, what was the thought process that the team went through to come to a decision like this? Walk us through kind of
for his errata specifically.
Yeah, the change for today. How do we get to this?
Yeah, that was like kind of the internal debates, because I'm not necessarily on the design team, but I walked through that room, and the entire design team is in for hours. I'm talking about 6-7 hours on these discussions. Yeah, and it gets heated sometimes. There's a lot of passion. Just walk us through kind of the thought process and the debates. So you don't need to mention names specifically. Yeah. But just high level, like, what are people's point of views on the design team?
It's good that we have a bunch of different players on the design team. I don't know if you know terms. They come from a different card game, Magic the Gathering, but there's Johnny players, Timmy players, Spike players. Johnny players are like myself, who like the weird combo decks. For example, I designed Monoma. That's Johnny player's dream. You don't even know what your character is going to do when you build your deck.
We're going to be judging you very quickly.
Yes, you're going to be judging me very harshly. I'm the kind of guy who likes to build weird characters like that. And if I can win with something weird, then I'm just the happiest boy. And then there's Timmy players. They are the ones that, in Magic, they play mono green deck, if that makes any sense. They want the biggest, thickest thing to be coming at you. Like, if they can play down a monster that all it does is it's got big stats and it just whomps you, they're happy. Okay. Like, a big Timmy attack would just be like a 6 difficulty, 5 mid 10 or something. Like, something ridiculous. Or just characters that just put big numbers on things. Like, that's a Timmy. A Spike is the most competitive player. They will only play Kirishima. They will only play the best Kirishima they can. They will. There's nothing wrong with net decking if you want to win. You absolutely play to win.
Okay.
And so we kind of have people of all of those types in the design team. So we get all of these different viewpoints. And at this point, we've got people will take the primary on different characters. So if there's a character we think, hey, this guy's going to be a little weird, hey, Church, you take the primary on this. So, and then we'll have someone else be the secondary. Look over the work as you do it and make sure everything's up to snuff. And we'll kind of work it together.
Very nice.
And so it's nice to get a really big variety of characters like that. So I'm excited for people to see all the cool characters we have going forward. But yeah, for Kirishima on these erratas, we went into a big meeting that went on hours long. We actually went into that as the design team. We only thought coordinated effort is getting banned. That's what we're doing today. And we discussed it for hours. There was discussion of, should we restrict coordinated effort? Should we just ban it? Should we hit Kirishima as well, ban him? We don't want to ban a character because he's the only Kirishima in the game. That is a very popular character, honestly. Like, he gets a lot of screen time. I really like him. He's cool. But he's the only one available, and we don't want to ban everyone's favorite character. Not that there isn't a Kirishima 2 coming out. He was announced in the DLC for Crimson Rampage. He's pretty cool. He doesn't just play like Kirishima 1, so it's nice that they're different, but you can see the similarities. So we've been testing this nerf with him for a little bit while we've been watching him to make sure if we need to go this route, we can. And well, we did. So we tried a few variations. One thing when we do an errata, we've had a little stance of you can't really change the numbers on a card. Like if you're changing an attack, for instance, and it checks a 2, it's got to still have the two checks, so that when someone plays it, the numbers are all the same, but the text can change.
So you're saying moving forward, if this happens ever again, and we're seeing that a character is too strong, too aggressive, the numbers won't change. It will only be the enhancements.
In theory, yeah. Like that's, for instance, because Kirishima can only pick up once a turn now. I would kind of prefer it if he was +3 or -3 to make it impactful, but it remained +2, -2 because that's what it says on the card. And people have their different opinions. I'm sure some people want it to be +2, -2 still, and that's perfectly fine. I just thought for a more impactful thing, 3/3 myself, but that's fine. With the errata, he stayed at +2, -2.
So how did the team think of, coordinated effort that seems like as being a data-driven decision?
Yeah.
Okay. But then you've got, actually focusing on the character versus other attack cards. How did you guys go about going through Kirishima, saying, you know what, we'll pick Kirishima as a character, make him weaker, and this will be enough?
Yeah, like for instance, Hardened Chop is an extremely popular card. Hardened Chop is amazing in Nomu, for example.
Yeah.
Nomu just sends at you for 10 damage.
Yeah.
It is in your Nomu deck,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just so efficient to throw 10 damage at someone and say, you're losing here either way, no matter what happens. And like that's kind of fun to do as a player. It isn't really overtuned, but it's not weak by any means. It's a very strong rare, and honestly, it would have been pretty fine if that was the ultra rare and Hardened Pummel being more of a utility card was the rare, but I think that's all right. That just means more people have access to Hardened Chop for their Nomu decks and their other decks and such. But that's pretty cool, actually. Like the character we just previewed, Fourth Kind, he can play Hardened Chop as his 4th attack. It's only on its normal difficulty because he gets the -4 difficulty, and it's coming in for 9. That's pretty cool. So they didn't really feel like anything else that we needed to get at. Hardened Jab that's a card.
That's a card.
That's a card. It sure does fuel a lot of things. Hardened Jab was definitely one of the reasons why we said, hey, stop attacking on turn 2. We're going to put that in the rules because we don't like these Kirishima players just going YOLO. Hey, I checked a 4 or higher. I'm going to build 2 for nothing on turn 1. Also eat this 5. That felt a little much. Yep. I'm not saying that's the main reason, but it was something that came up, and it just adds a nice parity and evenness between the two players if neither of them can attack on turn 1.
So there's been a lot of also discussion around, perhaps waiting for set 2, and obviously the timing of these changes also matter. So walk us through a little bit about why do this change now versus
I'll tell you one thing
after.
Our marketing team is not really happy with us on these quick changes. So
it really did just come up over a couple days.
Yes,
but do explain the urgency of it. And why we decided now's the right time.
Yeah, we definitely took a couple days to discuss it between the teams and make sure we're making the right decision for us, what we believe in. Maybe in 6 months it won't turn out to be the right decision, but we firmly believe that we made the right decision here. And it took a few days after the provisional, but that's okay. It didn't take too long. There's been times in the past where Jasco or other companies take way too long to ban a card, and then it just goes on and it wins Worlds, and then it wins Nationals, and then we think, maybe now it should stop, even though Worlds was in February, Nationals in October, and there's a long gap there. 2016 was a year. The same character won Worlds and Nationals, and then after that it got banned. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Church, now talk us maybe a little bit about where you think the meta is going to head now.
Who's the next best deck here?
Yeah, there were no Eraserheads in top 16, which really shocked me. As an Eraserhead player myself, I play him on all because I'm weird like that. I play a Staff Strike Eraserhead deck, which is, I guess, like not the cool meta thing to do. But I think he's really strong.
You said Jimmy?
Jimmy?
What's the
Timmy?
Oh yeah,
he's a Johnny player.
I'm a Johnny.
Okay.
Johnny. That's why I play Staff Strike.
That's why
just on an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, just
I'm gonna start Johnnying you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The more weird combos I can get, the better. But yeah, I think Eraserhead could find his spot. I don't know if he'll be at the top. I think Froppy, the Asui 1 dot, fantastic character. We haven't seen her as much lately, except for last week when she topped 3 times in the Wednesday webcam weekly. Yep. That was awesome to see. No Kirishima's made top, so that's fine. That's another thing. I think that she could very well take the first place spot with her DLC attack. She could be running an expensive water package with Frigid Heatwave, but she doesn't need to. She can go on life with Aoyama support. She has multiple lines of play, and that's really cool. And also, DLC All Might hasn't been seeing a lot of representation, but he did make top 16.
He did.
And I personally love him. When I was teaching
DLC All Might 3, right?
Oh, I believe he's All Might 2.
All Might 2.
All Might 3 is
okay.
the Plus Ultra one.
Because All Might 3 came out before All Might 2.
Yes.
So it went.
The
Well,
DLC
technically,
was
actually,
delayed.
All Might 3 was previewed at Gen Con.
Yes. He
So
was
it
available.
went 3, 1, and 2.
Yes,
Okay.
and he was
Not
called All Might
confusing
1 originally, but now he's 3.
There we go.
And because the DLC was unfortunately delayed due to shipping issues, the Plus Ultra one technically came out first, even though that one was free.
Oh, and don't forget All Might 4, which also came
out before
All Might 2.
Yes.
True form All Might.
Not confusing at all.
Not confusing at all. I
Yes.
think everybody understands that.
So yeah, I think DLC All Might could take a really strong spot in the meta. I love him. Recently, I was teaching one of our interns to play. He was playing Kirishima because he wanted to play a strong deck, and I kind of killed him on turn 2 with All Might playing. I think I got 7 or 6 attacks deep into my turn.
Wow.
Because Crow and Frog Takedown is an amazing card. Like, you can really make a string with that. And so that made me feel really good killing a Kirishima on turn 2.
They're just pummeling those interns into the ground. We love it. We love
And
it.
any deck I can stick Frigid Heatwave in is amazing.
I mean, you sound exactly like Loan here.
Guys, because we have the honor of having this discussion with Church here today. If you guys have any questions in the chat, I got the chat.
Oh yeah,
open.
you got the chat. Okay.
I'll have to. I'll reset things here as well. But if you guys want to pop in any questions you guys have, we'll make sure to answer those as well. Meanwhile, Church, anything else you've seen during the provisional that were any surprises?
I loved that True Form All Might deck that made top 16. Yes, it ran 4 coordinate effort. All Might deck that made top 16. Only a little bit of we just brought up the stream there, got a little bit of echo. I love that True Form deck. It was played by a previous I believe Teams World Champion and National Canadian Champion, Kirk Polka. I've played with that guy a lot back in the day, and it's nice to see him come back to play this deck that just whoops ya. It does nothing but just starts slinging attacks as soon as it can, and that seems like such a great thing for Kirk Polka, and I'm sure he enjoyed it. And
is that Kirk Polka in the chat himself?
I don't recognize the name, but it might be. Oh yeah, Binominal. That's absolutely him. Kirk Polka is a proficient player in a different card game. It's wrestling based, and he is a.
We don't talk about other games.
Okay. Well, we will, because Super Show was really fun. It's not really a competitive game so much as it's just a really fun wrestling game. And like Kirk Polka is a heel in that. They put out videos. He took the world title off of a guy, and he won Best Moment of the Year for doing that.
No way.
It's so cool.
So yeah, True Form All Might was definitely one of the surprises coming into the weekend. I certainly did not expect that deck of all decks to be up top.
Yeah, I'm sorry we took away some 6 checks from you there, Kirk, but it was the right choice. Your deck was not the target. Another deck I loved in Top Cuts was the Ochako 2 deck that made it in after there was a little bit of an issue with Top 16, and then that one came in. I'm to my own horn here and say that started as my deck, and I was working with John Stone, and he touched it up.
For some reason, it seems like you're a fan of Nomu. You're a fan of Ochako 2.
I like
and you like the power and the speed.
Yeah. Nomu can really whoop a guy, and that's fun. The Ochako 2 deck brings me back to a deck that I played like 5 years ago at a Worlds, and being able to lift up your attack and re-loop it is just, that is what I love doing. That's what I love.
Very cool.
Awesome. What about all these previews that we've seen, Church? Yeah,
oh my goodness. It has been so much fun watching people try and figure out how many characters are in the set, and the fact that so much of the set are these little DLC style characters. When people started realizing, hey, how come Ida was previewed and he's on the middle of a page? His numbers don't add up. And then more people get previewed and their numbers just don't make sense. And now we're, what is today, the 23rd of February? We've previewed a character every single day of February. We're at the 23rd, and we're not done.
We're not.
And I was actually asking Loan today or yesterday in the office, I'm like, do we want to slow down? And he's like, we're going same speed.
Yeah.
Continuing same speed.
Yeah,
there's a lot more to go.
There's no reason to slow down. So it's I'm just like mind blown. Yeah.
It's not a small set, but it's not huge. I think roughly 120 cards. But there's also the Plus Ultras, the Quirk Packs. Eventually there'll be DLC previews.
Yep.
So there's a lot of characters. Like we haven't even started previewing the DLC characters. Those are going to come later because the DLC product comes out after the main set.
Right.
It's deck loadable content. You don't get it with the main set.
It's a special.
So we would like to preview them later, even though the solicitations for the DLC went out months ago and people have already seen who's in it. So it kind of spoiled a few things. But that's fine. Whatever. A big thing we hit on this set was that everyone who hit top 16 in the sports festival is in the set. So that includes some characters that people wouldn't expect, like Ibara Shiozaki, the thorn-haired girl, or the vine-haired girl was, she's a character people wouldn't expect us to be in an actual set. She'd be like a Quirk Pack card or something, but she gets actual support.
Right.
And we kind of had to troll people with her preview because her attack says, pick up a copy of Face Shield from your discard pile, and we didn't preview Face Shield. So that's just fun. We did not want to do that. Or
I'll tell you what, do a bit more of that. It teases people.
Yeah,
it gets us excited.
We couldn't do that with MHACCG though, because she says first form add a copy of Box Full of Babies. By the way, that's a horrifying name. She refers to her gadgets and machinery as her babies.
Very true.
Yes.
Very
so
true.
that's why the asset makes sense. So even though that is a rare, we had to preview that with her. We had a discussion about it. It's just like, you can't not. That's just evil. Even if she has the evil symbol, that's just wrong. So we've been trying to preview only the commons to people so that the hype can slowly build. You can get the characters, and honestly, I've got nothing against if people want to play these characters at their weeklies. You can print out proxies. You can put an image on your phone and put it in your stage and play Deku 2. Like, that's perfectly fine. Especially if your locals get together and you're like, hey, there's 23 new characters now as of today that we haven't touched. You guys want to say next week everyone shows up with a set 2 character proxy and set 1 cards to be reasonable, and it would probably be pretty fun. A lot of these characters are awesome. And Tetsu also got to be in there for hitting top 6.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think anyone noticed a little subtlety that he's a little similar to Kirishima. We tried to just slide that in under the radar, that he's got the exact 3 symbols, and
nobody
does
noticed
the same thing. Yeah. He was a little unkillable in playtest. Some people actually messaged me and other people at Jesco wondering, how come he doesn't have more damage reduction? Maybe his discard should have had damage reduction. Oh, it did. No more of that. It was way too much. That boy was unkillable.
Yeah. It's
he was more unbreakable than the guy whose super move is called Unbreakable.
That's true. Great. So, Church, anything else that we should tell the stream? Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, I see someone asking there, do you think Cementos will be broken?
Good question.
He is. I don't think he's going to be broken because you have to put so much of your board face down. Like, yes, you can get to 7 hand size if you've got 6 face downs, and that's cool. But you could also compare that to Destined for Mainstream Success, which just flips to draw you 1 card and is kind of the same rate if you just replay it or get a different card. It's not horrifying, but you can't be afraid to build the deadlock with that boy though.
It's a solid card.
Yeah, yeah. He's very. I couldn't think of a cement pun, and now I look like an idiot. He's a brick slab of manliness. Like, some people may remember that Kirishima and Rikido Sato, they lost against him in their exam, and they had to go to like remedial class because of it. They weren't prepared to go to deadlock. He just kept throwing more rocks at them. He kept flipping his board, and he just gets stronger. And they were not ready for that. They just didn't have good deadlock effects. So if you start bringing pack good deadlock effects, I know we did just ban 1, which meant we actually inadvertently banned an infinite combo, and I'm fine with that. So yeah, just bring deadlock. It's a real thing. Let's see. Oh yeah, Barry says he just needs 1 more card. We'll see.
Listen, Barry has a lot of requests here. Huh?
Barry has
last week I heard Barry's getting a tattoo.
Oh
yeah, he's a Froppy fan.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
So we're waiting on that.
Yep. Someone said talk about forearms. I saw someone say today, "Oh, it's too bad that Forearm Man Fourth Kind doesn't have a symbol with Staff Strike, which is a great combo card." There he is, Mr. Fourth Kind.
Oliver. Wow. Applause.
Yeah,
Applause.
almost instantly. The fourth card you play during your turn, only your turn, gets -4 difficulty, and if it happens to be an attack, it gets +4 damage. This means that he doesn't have to fear running a bunch of 3 difficulties in his deck, even as a 5-hander, or even if he's running 2 checks. He can still play that 3 difficulty as his 4th card, and he will still be able to pass it. And that's awesome! It gives him his own little way of playing that's a little bit different to other people. And he's got a once per game, your turn only, because that would be insane if it didn't say your turn.
Yep.
If your rival has 6 or more foundations, they commit 4. It's like a big stun 4. If
Wow.
when you want to go for your kill, you just make them all get tapped down. And you only have to do it when you do it, when you want to do it. It's fine. And response
And
commit.
life. I mean, this is...
He's got some really good symbols for that commit. Of course, it's a very order ability, but yeah. And response commit, after you block with an attack, add it to your hand. As far as I know, that works perfectly fine with like playing a breaker 2 block and then telling a man, stop attacking me. You pick it back up. And if they dare attack you again, you say, knock it off. And breaker 2 again. Like, I am your father and I told you to stop attacking. I stole that joke from Bromley. That's not
Oh, really? I like that.
Wow. So yeah, Fourth Kind, in testing, he had all for a little bit. And before we had that rule that you can't attack on turn 2, I did turn 1 some people with Staff Strike in him. That was genuinely an issue, so he doesn't have all anymore. Like, even without not being able to attack on turn 1, that was a thing. Barry says he's thinking about getting the image from Frog Lashing as a tattoo with her holding Frog Lashing in her hand. That is incredibly nerdy, and I love it.
Barry was the MVP last week during the stream.
Yeah.
He's the ... He's our ...
That is true. That is true. He did carry the show.
All right.
Any final thoughts, True? Anything else?
Kirk Polka's saying he would like to throw together a Midnight as his next deck, which is awesome. He very well might get a Midnight. I think he gets 1 guaranteed for getting top 16, but I don't know. I'm not the guy who hands out promos. I don't want to say any of that. Maybe it's only top 8 gets Midnight or something. I don't know. But he gets some packs. Yeah, or it can do Redemption. Midnight's very fun. I have been playing her for a while. One thing we like to do to make sure that sets are fair against each other is we keep sets on hand that are only, say, from exactly the set 1 meta, nothing further, and we'll say test a deck that uses everything up to set 3 against that. And if it's a fair fight, we can be okay with it. And one of the decks I use to test set 1 is Midnight, because I love that. She's so much fun. We had a character very similar to her in the past who she had commit a foundation. His name's Donovan from Darkstalkers. Commit a foundation. This attack gets plus X or minus X damage. X is the number of keywords it had. And I thought, that's cool, but I want that to say speed. And that is exactly what Midnight does. And when I saw her for the first time, I just thought,
Very cool.
They heard me.
Church, you've been heard.
Yeah, they heard my inner monologue from like 2018, whenever that card came out.
There you go.
Took 4 years.
There you go. Cool. I think we're probably just a few minutes away from the first round starting. I think we'll cut to a break.
Yeah, I think pairings are about to line up here, and Jellyfish, we're ready for you. So we'll do a small break. And Church, thank you so much.
That one right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay, cool.
We gotta have you more.
This was pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah, it was a bit of commute getting here from Canada, but you know.
Thank you for coming in only for this Wednesday.
For absolutely nothing else. Not the meeting we had yesterday. Nothing else. I came out just for this, and
just for the stream, just for the people.
Yeah, I got my boarding pass. Here it is. This isn't a phone. This is a real boarding pass. I'm leaving immediately. Getting right back to the plane.
Okay. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah.
Have a safe flight.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we just sit here awkwardly until it starts?
We sit here awkwardly until Oliver pauses.